Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today is going to be a good one, as we'll be discussing a topic that is brought up constantly in my streams and in the comment sections of my videos and on my Discord, and that is how to get from Plat to Diamond in Valorant, or a better way to put it, what are the big differences between Platinum players and between Diamond players in Valorant. Now, before we jump into that, make sure you guys are following me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dragonmar. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern for a longer stream, and then occasionally on Sunday as well. As always, guys, make sure you also follow me on Twitter and Discord. Join the community, hang out with us, have some fun. With that being said, let's jump into the video. Now guys, in this video, we are going to be discussing the big differences between Platinum ranked players and Diamond ranked players. We have to generalize this. This is not going to apply to every single player you meet in these ranks, but overall it will make sense. Now, as you guys know, if you've been watching the stream, I'm about to hit Immortal on my second account, which means I will have grinded with Platinums and through Diamond now on 2 accounts to get to Immortal. So I have some really good experience, and there are some trends that I've noticed and some things that have caught my eye, especially from the VOD reviews that we do on Tuesdays as well, where I get a lot of Plats and Golds sending me their VODs. With that being said, this video is meant to be educational and in a way eye-opening. I sort of want to point out maybe the flaws that you're not noticing about your playstyle and that may be holding you back. I know a lot of my viewers are in that Plat area and they're looking to get into Diamond. My hope here is that I'm able to sort of explain the differences between the ranks that I've seen, and maybe you can figure out where you're lacking and how to improve and how to move from there. Remember, the first step to getting better is the acknowledgement phase. You have to acknowledge that a problem exists, or there is an error or a flaw or a weakness that you need to explore further and improve upon, and that is the point of this video. So let's jump into number one. Now, number one, right, in the very first thing, the biggest difference, probably, or at least one of them, is, and you guessed it, one of my favorite things to talk about: crosshair placement. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kyle, people aim differently on every rank. I get it, guys. Don't worry. I understand that not everyone is going to aim the same way, but overall, one thing I've noticed about Plats in particular is that Platinum players seem to understand where enemies are going to be, which tells me that they have some decent game knowledge. However, they are almost always aiming incorrectly and at the incorrect height. So they know where someone's going to be, as in they will turn the correct corner, but they won't be aiming in the right spot. That's only doing half the job. Diamonds, on the other hand, Diamond players, for the most part, definitely also know where enemies are going to be, but their aim is so much better. This doesn't mean that their recoil control is good. This doesn't mean they can flick well or have the best reactions, but they understand where their crosshair needs to be placed when they turn a corner, and this is a big one, guys. It is one thing to understand where people are going to be. It is a completely different situation to not only understand where players are going to be, but also to be able to kill them with that superior knowledge. That is a big thing that I think a lot of Plat players can look to improve upon. Now, the second thing I want to talk about was something that frustrated me so bad in the early days of playing on this second account that I have, that I actually made a tweet about it, because I was like, I can't believe this is happening every game, and that's baiting. Now, if you don't know what baiting is, essentially baiting is when you or your team or someone uses your teammate, or they use you sort of as the bait, as the person who they're waiting for you to die to get information to play off of that. And not in the good way, not in like the trade way where you trade out an entry fragger, in the literal, I am not going to help you way, I'm just going to wait for you to die. That is the complete wrong way to play a team game like Valorant. What I've noticed with Platinum players in general as well is they are not playing their roles either, and on top of that, duelists are not entering into sites. They're not playing the entry frag role that a lot of their kits are made for. And also, I've also noticed a lot of baiting up and clumping together in mid on certain maps, especially on Haven, but just in general. What I'm finding is that Plats really like to just clump up and no one does anything. I know this is a problem in a lot of ranks, by the way, so don't, like, come on. But in Plat in particular, I've noticed that there's a lot of expectation that someone is going to go in, but no one wants to step up. That's a huge problem. Baiting is a huge problem in plat. You have to be willing to die and give up your own life so your team can win the round. Now, diamonds, on the other hand, tend to have their duelists actually entering. So they are the entry fraggers. That's something I've noticed as well, is that diamonds do tend to play to the roles a lot better than plats. And also, they tend to play to the agent's strengths a lot better as well. So that means they're using their utility better and things like that. But just in general, there's a lot less baiting going on in diamond. And I think that's because people understand their roles better. The reason this is so important, guys, is because you need someone to take that initial entry fragging role to get the ball rolling onto a site, or to get the ball rolling in some situation where you're trying to like take over some sort of position, right? Someone has to be willing to throw their life away. As you guys know, that was sort of what I found myself doing on my climb to Immortal. I was like, okay, I'm playing Brimstone, but if you guys want me to go in first, I'll go in first. And that's what I did. That's what worked for me. I think it's a big problem for plat players looking to get in a diamond, is that they're baiting and they might not even realize it. Now, the third difference that I have here is patience. I have noticed throughout my tenure in Valorant that plat players really do not understand how to use time still. And the problem with that is that they're either constantly rushing the round, or they're taking forever to do nothing. There is no in between, I've found. It really is one or the other. It's like, all right, guys, we're going all out, rush B, no stop. Or the opposite. They're like, okay, let's just sit back and wait, until there's 15 seconds left, then let's execute. It's so weird to me, because a lot of the times you would think, oh, okay, at this rank, people would, I think, tend to understand how the game flow and sort of time management. Totally not true. Diamonds, on the other hand, way better at this kind of stuff, right? Diamonds understand there's a need to rush in certain rounds, and a need to play smart, slow, aggressive, you name it. They set up on defaults, they hold positions. However, there's one thing I really want to mention here about plats, and that is that they do not, and I repeat, they do not know how to bait out utility, okay? They just don't. And what I mean by that is, one of the biggest things when it comes to taking a site is to sort of bait out utility, to make the enemy team use utility. That's a part of being patient. Apply the initial pressure, allow the enemy team to blow smokes, flashes, mollies, whatever. Wait 10, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then push in. That's the patience I'm talking about here, and that is what's lacking. Also, obviously, patience with like over peaking and things like that as well. Big problem in plat. All right, on to number 4 now. Now, the fourth biggest difference that I've noticed is that there is a lot of over-aggression and overconfidence without skill to back it up in plat. What a lot of plat players don't understand is they're not really as good as they think they are. And I know that sounds tough, and that applies to every rank, by the way, so don't think I'm just calling plats out. But it's a big problem in plat because they don't always have the skill to punish people the way they want to with their over-aggression. However, the enemy generally has the aim to counter that over-aggression by sort of playing smart, which is what I find a lot. I find that you're going to get that over-aggressive peak, but then the enemy is going to have good enough aim in plat to be able to kill you and punish you for it. So that's what you see all the time. Overcommitting to fights, overcommitting to rushes, or on post plants, for example, when you should just play time. They constantly are peaking. No one's playing time. Everyone just wants to frag out. Everyone wants to top the leaderboard. There's a lot of that in plat, and it's a big problem because they don't have the aim I think they do. And I know that this happens in diamond. Now, diamonds are also very aggressive, but the problem is I think in general they have the skill to back it up. If you're going to compare a plat 1 to a diamond 1, I would say on average diamond 1 definitely has a lot more skill when it comes to aim, more mechanical skill. So the big thing here for plats who are trying to improve is to understand you don't have to get that aggressive. You don't have to be overconfident. Just tone it back a little. Be a little more patient, like I said in the last step, and play your role, play your positioning, and trust your team. Trust your own positioning to carry you through without constantly peeking out and throwing your life away. I mean, you've got people who are like dry peeking ops on defense for no reason, giving up bomb sites, and they get mad that they lose. I mean, come on, guys. You're in plat. You should know better than that. Now, the fifth biggest difference that I've noticed is something that sort of overlaps into everything, but it's teamwork and cooperation. A big problem, I think, is with Platinum players is a lot of them are sort of playing for themselves. You know, I noticed this more in Plat than any other. I didn't really notice this in Diamond, by the way, which is kind of interesting, at least in my games. But in Plat, a lot of people sort of say they're better than they are, and they're like, oh, I should be Diamond. You know, I've seen that a lot more in Plat. I'm sure this happens at every rank, like I've said, you know, disclaimer. But in Plat, there is a lot more selfish play, I find, and the selfishness sometimes is you know, it comes in the form of baiting maybe, but also I've noticed that if a game is going poorly, people don't even talk. Like, there's no communication. At no point do people are trying to bring back the game, to help the team, you know, to bring the team together, you know, lift people's spirits. There's none of that, and that to me is almost like hidden toxicity. It's garbage in a team game. You need to work together. Now, Diamonds, on the other hand, I've found, and I know you guys have told me that this experience is, you're not sharing this, but my games have been extremely positive for the most part. Everyone seems to work together really well. And there is selfishness, but to a much lesser extent. And maybe it's because they tend to be more skilled players, but I think that one thing a lot of people don't realize is that once you get to these higher ranks, you have to work together. There is no more like solo carry unless you're on the level of like Hiko or Tenz or Wardell or something. You're just not going to have that skill needed in Plat, most likely, especially if you feel like you're stuck there. You have to start working together. You have to cooperate with your team. Look to be the shot caller, guys. If you're looking to get out of Plat, try to take a lead role. Try to be the entry fragger, things like that. It's really important that you work together, because this is a big problem at that rank. And coming at number 6, one of my personal favorites as a Brimstone man is the wasted utility. And you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, wasted utility, you mean like, you know, missing a molly or something? No, I'm talking about doing a full execute of smokes and no one moving. This is part of the sort of the baiting and the problem with patience and the over patience, which I was talking about. There's like two sides to patience, right? I was saying you either are full out rush or it's nothing. And this sort of plays into that nothing part. There's a lot of people, there's 5 people on the team, and they all just kind of look at each other once the smokes go down, I've noticed. And they're kind of like, okay, who's going in? And no one does. And then guess what? 15 seconds later, all 3 of my smokes are gone. You know, we're all just sitting there looking at each other like, oh, well, now we're going in dry. Hope they don't have an opper. That's a huge problem in Plat. Probably one of the biggest mistakes that I've saw in every single game I played, and in a lot of games that I reviewed as well on stream. A lot of the VODs I review, a lot of time I'm seeing in Plat games, wasting utility, no one's executing. Now, when you look at Diamonds, on the other hand, I find that because in Diamond there generally tends to be someone who's shot calling, and it tends to be more vocal, that they tend to play better sort of around their utility, so you really don't see that very much. But in Plat, I'm sure you guys are relating right now. You're probably like, yep, I see it happen all the time, right? Someone will throw smokes down, no one will go through it, and then suddenly you're expected to take a site with even less time and with no cover. Big problem. So how do you solve this, you're probably wondering? Simple. You got to go in. You got to go in. You got to be like, hey, follow me in. You have to assume that role. Stop sitting back. Stop being like, hey, I can't do this. You know, I want some. That's baiting. Just do it, okay? Just do it. And let's just sort of follow that up with the 7th difference, the 7th and final one I want to go over for this video, and that is mistimed executes or poorly executed executes. Oh, that's probably a bad way to phrase that, but what I mean is that in Plat, what I found is that there is really poor timing between teammates, so that, you know, when you take a site, guys, you generally want to do some sort of split, whether it's 4-1, 3-2, you know, 2-3, however it ends up splitting, but you want attacks from multiple angles at the exact same time. Why? Because generally there's going to be 2 or 3 defenders. You split the directions they're looking. You allow sort of, if one of you gets a kill, you move in off of that. You sort of pinch them. You create crossfires and all. That's really important. That doesn't happen a lot in Plat. And the problem is that the attacks tend to be one-dimensional. It's sort of all or nothing. You're attacking on a split, everyone's going through short, through lower there, or everyone's running up ramp into heaven. There is no split. There is no waiting for the ramp players to get into heaven then to attack. So you have the looking down angle as well as the on the ground angle to sight. There is none of that. It's just like, okay, we're all going in, or are we going one by one? everything is poorly timed. No one is working together. Once again, that falls on communication, that falls on the shot callers. You know, it falls on a lot of things, but that's a huge problem in Plat. When then you look at the Diamonds, for example, and because they're communicating, they're able to sort of work together and be like, hey, you know, hold on 5 seconds on flank, you know, give me a few seconds here to push through showers, then go, you know, something like that, or like wait on my smokes to move. You know, there's these little call outs you can make that sort of make these pushes just sync up perfectly. And other teams like, damn, is this like a full stack? Are these guys like pracking for a tourney? You know what I mean? And all it takes is just a few words on the microphone. You know what I mean? All it takes. So seriously, guys, you know, all of these things I've said can be fixed, you know, relatively easily with just communicating, which is funny because I talk about that a lot. Guys, I want to end the video there. These were 7 of the biggest differences between Plats and Diamonds. 7 things that I've noticed just throughout my VOD reviews, throughout my own play, that just really seem to separate these ranks at sort of that integral level, sort of at that level that is just so deeply rooted in their gameplay that it really prevents a lot of people from ever climbing. And it's one of those things that I've been able to get through relatively easily. So looking back now, it's pretty clear to me why some people get stuck here. Now, the whole point of this video was not to like somehow boost you up out of Plat and a Diamond, but more so to open your eyes and just sort of make you understand that, you know, look at what I'm talking about and see if any of this applies to you, and then take that and go from there. You know, build upon that. Work on things that might be holding you back. See what's holding you back in your games. Maybe assume a different role and try to push forward with this in mind. And if I achieve that, then great. You know, leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you on the stream later today if I get this up on a Thursday. As you guys know, I have started streaming and the support has been incredible. So thank you so much to everyone, especially Taco. You know why. Thank you so much. And just thanks to everyone for being around and hanging out. I really do appreciate it. So I hope to see you guys back soon. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you do enjoy. Leave a like, comment. Love to hear what you guys think about this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy and peace.